Welcome to UPOU. Welcome to the University of the Philippines. Pag nag-enroll kayo, estudyante na kayo, bona fide students of UP. So, I'm going to talk about the GE program of the university. Lilipat ako ng microphone. At ako ay visually impaired na. Mag-ingat sa inyong mga mata. I've been teaching in UPOU for 14 years. So, yan. Pag napapagod yung mata nyo, ipahinga nyo. Otherwise, tataas ang inyong grade. Tataas ang grade? Wow, okay. Hindi. Hindi grade sa class. Grade sa mata. So, ingatan ng mata. It's a very important faculty. Okay. So, the general education courses are a set of courses that every UP undergraduate student has to go through. Every UP undergraduate student has to go through. So, whether you're in UP Open University, or you're in UP Diliman, or you're in UP Los Baños, UP Baguio, UP Mindanao, UP, kung magkaroon ng UP sa buwan, mag-GGE din siya. O, diba? So, Interstellar UP also has to take GE courses. Why? I will let you know. Okay. So, we will start with the GE framework. Okay, what's this GE framework? The GE framework that we're going to talk about, the GE is a set of courses. Now, this set of courses, you will go through in UP, and especially in your first year, you will go through mostly GE courses, okay? Now, when you go inside the GE course, hindi na to pinag-uusapan. Enrolled na kayo, tuloy-tuloy na ang pag-aaral nyo. But actually, all of these courses are unified by a certain framework, and that's what we call the GE framework. Okay, so to understand what this GE framework is, we will look at the history and objectives of the new GE program. But before that, let's first look at something that happened almost 100 years ago. Okay, sinong nakapunta na sa UP Diliman? Okay, sino nakapunta na sa Palma Hall? Yung dating Arts and Sciences Building. Ito yung pinanggalingan ng Palma sa Palma Hall. Si President Rafael Palma, who was president of university when it was starting. Now, in 1925, the university was started in 1908, right? Okay, so we have more than 100 years old. We are on our 111th. Oh, di ba? Magic number. 111th year na natin ngayon, 2019, no? So, in 1925, when President Palma was inaugurated into office, this is what he said about what UP education is. Okay, the liberal education ensures a broader outlook on God, man, and events. You see, 1925, hindi pa politically correct ang diskurso natin. So, man lang. O ngayon, pagka ngayon, sinabi mo yon, sasabihin, nako, hindi siya politically correct. So ngayon, man and woman, di ba? Man, woman, and child, pwede rin. Hindi ko na alam paano ipasok yung ibang genders, di ba? Pero dito, man pa lang. Okay. A liberal education ensures a broader outlook on God, man, and events. To get skills, the student needs to react properly to the promptings of truth to the world, and develops in him acumen and quickness of mind. So you don't develop this just by reading manga, just by watching YouTube. You have to practice it. Diba? It has to be honed. Kung walang whetstone, walang tatalas na kutsilyo kung hindi mo hahasain. So the GE program is a way to make our mind sharper. Even for the faculty. Pampatalas din ng utak. Okay. The primary aim of all education is to form the habit of thinking. of judging facts and circumstances in their proper light, of logically deducing inferences from them, and this aim cannot be attained save through the instrumentality of a liberal education. Now, I would like to share a story about UP before. I think pre-war UP, post-war UP, yung mga courses nun were bachelors in the liberal arts. Yung mother ko graduated in 1957, Bachelor of Liberal Arts, major in library science. So, you are a bachelor, not in library science, but you're a Bachelor of Liberal Arts. In other words, very rounded ang iyong education. You're not just studying library science or whatever it is technical discipline that you're studying. You're not just studying engineering. You're studying liberal arts, the whole gamut of, holistic knowledge as they knew it back then, but you're specializing on a certain track, right? So before, there was no problem. You're a Bachelor of Liberal Arts, but you're majoring in something. Okay. So, when did the GE program begin? Okay. So the GE program was first instituted in 1968. Why did this happen? This happened because courses were being instituted because of the job market. Dahil dumadami ng information and there are lots of new jobs opening up, and the university was called to answer to this demand. So, ang university gumawa ng maraming programa. Sa dami ng programa, kung ano-ano na yung nagka-crop up. And they felt the need to have something to unite the university. Okay. So, there was a fragmentation and proliferation of subjects, and it was criticized. There's a criticism that UP education produced very good technical men and specialists, but were found to be wanting as professionals and as citizens. In other words, we tended to concentrate too much on our technical knowledge, pero pag wala na sa area of expertise, wala na tayong masabi. Now, why is that? Because we lost the roundedness of our education. Now, GE was seen as a unifying factor through its formation of the ideal citizen of a democracy. So remember, this is 1968. In other words, throughout the world, there was this movement, diba, for social consciousness raising. Lapit na yan ang first quarter storm, ang martial law, 1970s. Vietnam War. So it was created within this milieu that things were changing. And the university had to, come up to the challenges of the times. So our answer to the challenge was the first GE program of the university. Next, it was revisited next post-EDSA. Okay, what was the problem? Outside the relevance, questions of relevance were asked. Yung liberal arts program was very classicist, maybe. And there were nationalist tendencies, pero hindi siya ganun ka-institutionalized. The second one is the internal issues within the university. From being a tri-campus, the first 3 campuses of the university was UP Diliman, UP Manila, UP Los Baños, and then UP Diliman. Tapos nagkadanan ng UP Visayas. Uy, wow, ang layo na nila. Magiging iisa pa ba ang UP? So there was a need to unite the university. And again, what was the uniting factor? The GE program. So I'm a part of this generation of the GE program. And it was nice because anywhere you go within all the UP campuses, we were taking the same courses. We had CAS 1, we had COM 1, we had Hume, we had SOCSI, we had NATSI. All of these courses were the same throughout. So kahit na magpunta ako sa UP Visayas, UP Baguio, which was before part of UP Diliman. Kahit magpunta ka doon, we were taking the same programs. We had something in common throughout the university system. Okay, so the hallmark of the UP student, no matter which campus he or she came from, was to be through, all the graduates passed through this. And the main idea was to infuse a passion for learning with a high sense of moral and intellectual integrity. And this was a response to the damage that the ousted dictatorship had done to the nation's moral fiber. So we needed to correct a certain complacency that happened during the past. And this was our way of responding to that need. Okay, so later on, in 2001, parang every 15 years, later on in 2001, it was revised again. Why was it revised? Oh, because there was this push towards lifelong learning. And we felt that with the acceleration of knowledge, people needed to be aware of so many new things that were happening everywhere, right? And parang let 1,000 lotuses bloom. That was the thing, because they wanted more diversity in the offerings. Parang nag-calcify kasi, nag-fossilize yung mga courses when they were first given in the 1980s. They were so fresh and new. But at this point in the 2000s, parang hindi na sila gumalaw, hindi na nag-evolve. So they needed a change. And also, there were so many new campuses already. The UP Open University opened in 1998. Okay? And there was UP Mindanao. And then there was UP Cebu. And then there's UP Baguio. And in other words, from 4 constituent universities, there became 9. So, di ba, ang dami na. And with these many campuses, there was also these many new issues cropping up and these many new concerns that we wanted to talk about. And this became the venue for talking about all of these new concerns, especially the localized concerns. For example, there's one GE course on small island ecology. Imagine having a GE course on small. I mean, you cannot imagine UPLB developing a course on small island ecology, right? But it was so important for UP Tacloban, UP Iloilo, UP Cebu. You understand where we're going. So we're going towards diversity. So this is what they call the cafeteria model of course programs. Now with this cafeteria model, you go to the cafeteria and then you choose what you want. Kung anong putahe yung gusto mo, yun yung kukunin mo. So there were courses with a lot of enrollments, such as Soksai, hindi Soksai 13. There's this Soksai, that's sex and society. Lagi yan, punong-puno yung klase. You understand, right? Because these are straight out of high school and they're very interested and they need the information. Okay, so it was timely, it was perfect for the context, right? But there were other courses that were subscribed, and they felt that these are important courses. Why were they undersubscribed? Because mahirap, matabaho, nakakapagod, nakakababa ng general weighted average. So ang mga estudyante would rather choose the courses that would lift their jiwa kasi nga naman, option yan. They're gaming the system and they have the opportunity and they're very smart. So, okay. So that's where the criticism came in. When you let the students choose, they will choose whatever for their own ends. By the time they reach thesis stage, they don't know how to write. And the advisors are all complaining. They don't even know how to annotate. They don't know how to get the main idea. They're always plagiarizing, blah, blah, blah. Tapos, pag naman nila, magtatawag ng rally, walang magpupunta. Ba't walang magpupunta? Kasi nawala na yung social consciousness ng mga estudyante dahil hindi na sila nag-a-attend ng kasaysayan isa. Wala nang history course, wala nang soksay, wala nang hindi na pag-uusapan, puro sex and sexuality and society. Diba? You can imagine the things that we come up with, and you can imagine, you know, with diversity, you have all of these things that you have to balance. And with these kinds of criticisms, it was time again to re-envision GE. Also, there were new things happening. First of all, K to 12, right? Many of our former courses have been assumed by grades 11 and 12. So we had to adjust to that. Aside from that, there was what we call the internationalization of education. So nagbabago na ulit ang mundo ng, especially tertiary education, nagbabago na ang mundo. There were demands about the ASEAN integration, so on and so forth. So, aside from that, it appeared that our problems are more complicated than we think, right? We call them wicked problems. They're wicked because if you tweak one end, then everything else follows. In other words, you can't look at them from just one point of specialization. You have to be interdisciplinary. And that was something that the former GE programs were not able to provide, the interdisciplinary perspective. So, with all of these things happening all together, all at once, the UP said, let's sit down and think about this again. So the first proposal came out in 2013. But we were able to offer it in 2015. And in UP terms, that's very, very fast. It's very fast. Why? Because there are already 9 constituent universities. And you imagine this room, all of these people in this room are all professors, and they're all intelligent, and they all have something to say. So, with all of that input and that high level of discourse, talagang matagal bago you come into something that you can all agree on. And happily, we did come up with something that we agreed on. Of course, there were protests here and there. Of course, this is UP. We cannot, that is part and parcel of our process. Of course, there's protest. There's always protest. That's good because it improves. It improves the end result. And we agree that this is a work in progress. We are still continuously developing. Even if our courses are already there, we're still continuously developing and learning from them. So the last thing is the increasing emphasis on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, right? And also these professional disciplines which are very technical, business, economics, ICTs. Everything is now ICTs. Even transportation is ICTs. Even music is ICTs. Arts are ICTs. Okay. So everything is interdisciplinary, and we need to have that kind of perspective in our GE program. So what happened? What happened is that we agreed that specialization should be tempered with holistic appreciation. The UP graduate will always be a specialist. With all of those courses and all of those years, you have to be somewhat of a specialist. But you should be a specialist, but still maintain principles of democracy, human rights, equity, social justice, and peace. All of these years, we have all been, and you are incoming UP students, you are all scholar ng bayan. And having said that, the bar is very high for service, for excellence. And this will have to come from within. This will have to come from within. The faculty will not tell you that, hey, you're not doing your best in this course. They will only give you a grade that says you're not doing your best, but they will not push you that you say not doing your best. But they will be challenging you to do your best. And we are also challenging ourselves to be our best with our research, with our teaching, with our community service. And we challenge you to join us in our reach for excellence, because this is what UP is all about. And we're not being excellent for the sake of being excellent. That's not the point. The point is we have a country to take care of. We are committed to that, right? And that is the essence of what we're doing here. We're starting here. We're starting here, right? Okay. So there's a strong sense of personal responsibility and accountability and commitment to public service and civic participation. And of course, there's a capacity to learn throughout the lifetime. You will be with us only for 4 years, 5 years, kung AA, 2 years. And after that, you're on your own. But before we let you go, I hope we can give you the skills, or we can develop with you the skills that you need in order to keep on your feet, to keep your heart strong, to keep your spirit, to keep your commitment. Okay. So, the history of the GE program is actually a history of the university, looking in on itself throughout the years and being ready to face the challenges of the time. And you are part of this university. The GE 11 courses, we call them GE 11, parang Ocean's 11, because we started with 11 courses. The UPOU chose 10 of those GE 11 courses, but the whole system contributed to the creation of each of these 11 courses. The OU faculty were part of each of those 11 courses, and they were created by faculty across the UP campuses. They are interdisciplinary, they are socially relevant, and very concrete and very current. And they are the best that the UP system can offer. So, as of the 1980s, what did President Jose Abueva say about liberal education? The point of UP is to produce not just professionals. The point of UP is to produce leaders. Leaders who are thoughtful, men and women. Politically correct na. Thoughtful men and women, capable of prayer and action, who are sensitive to our people's needs and aspirations. In other words, hindi tayo ivory tower academics. Hindi tayo armchair activists. We're there, and we're active, and we're engaged. And can imagine a far better society, create options and alternatives, and work honestly without fanfare. We want women and men with vision and courage, of deep passion and great compassion. Galing, no? Whose integrity and eloquence will teach and persuade others, other leaders, and the citizenry. Okay. What a high bar for excellence. Naka-inspire, diba? Okay. So, what is this new GE, this 2018 GE program that you will be experiencing with us? Okay, the objective is to develop leadership characterized by integrity, honor, excellence, and commitment to public service. This is actually in the UP Charter, this thing. Okay, but the objectives are 5, and these objectives are woven so tightly together, you can't separate one from the other. First is, university education has to broaden your intellectual horizons. I don't know, but when we were creating the courses that we did create for the GE program, kahit kami na-broaden ng aming intellectual horizons, and we're already faculty members. Wow, it was such an adventure. And it was so exciting doing it, and I hope they always also be challenged and broadened by this adventure. Okay, to hone critical and creative thinking, to develop a passion for learning and scholarship, to cultivate a high sense of intellectual and moral integrity, and to foster a commitment to nationalism and social justice. So this is really what we call the TAC-UP. The TAC-UP. So this is the GE program. There are 7 required courses and 3 elective courses. Okay? These courses will be offered throughout the year. We have 3 terms in a year, so every year these will be offered. Sometimes maybe twice a year, but maybe not all the time. The electives may not be offered once every year, depending on the elective. But definitely, we will be offering electives for you to choose from. At the start, this is the GE 10 that I was talking about. There are 10 plus other GE electives we will be introducing to you eventually. So what are the required courses? So first, kasaysayan ng Pilipinas. Siyempre, yan ang pinaka-importante. If you came from a high school or if you came from your past life in another institution that taught history as a parade of names and events and places and things to memorize, magugulat kayo sa kasaysayan isa because it's actually a commentary on what happened, why it happened, why these people were movers and why these people made it to the history books. So it's more than just a recounting of events and people who participated in them, but it's more of looking at the interaction between history, economy, politics, environment, even environment. And it's that kind of course. So, interdisciplinary talaga siya. The second is Wika Isa. Wika, Kultura at Lipunan. It's not your usual Filipino course, where you talk about Filipino being the national language, chu-chu-chu-chu, ganyan. Siyempre, dahil ang daming gumawa nitong kursong ito, hindi lang siya course about Filipino, but it's an analysis of what happened and why we eventually have a national language, what it means to our culture and our society, and how we think in Filipino as our worldview. Tinatranslate ko, Tagalog siya ito. Pagsusuri sa ugnayan ng wika, kultura at lipunan. Nakakapag-isip sa wikang Pilipino bilang pananaw mundo. Ito yung the student after the course. At pagsusuri ng wika sa konteksto ng mga pagbabagong lokal at global. So, the issues that you will be talking about will have a lot to do with how language is used, produced, consumed, and continued. Okay. So, the third is Arts 1, Critical Perspective in the Arts. Okay. I think Dr. Chego taught Arts 1 last term, right? Okay. Arts 1 is a critical study of the experience, language, and context of art. Have you ever heard that there's a language of art? I did not know that. Gusto ko nga mag-sit-in sa course na to kasi parang, wow, okay. Hindi ko yun alam. Understand art in its various contexts and the issues that surround its production, circulation, and reception in society. So, yan na naman. Kakaibang pulso. Saan mo yan mahahanap? Sa UP. Okay. So, the fourth is Ethics 1. Ethics 1, Ethics and Moral Reasoning in Everyday Life. So, this is more of everyday practical ethics. Okay. Nature and Development, Framework of Ethics and Moral Reasoning as Applied to Daily Life. Okay. Science 11 is a new course. It's on living systems. So this is not your usual biology course. It is a systems theory applied to biology. Gets? Hindi gets. Okay. Enroll na lang kayo. Offered siya this coming term. Okay, STS1, Analysis of the Past, Present, and Future of Science and Technology in Society, particularly in the Philippine setting. We've always had this issue that we're not moving fast enough in terms of science and technology. And I think this is one of the things that we will talk about in this course. Okay, Math 1. Especially in AA, natatakot sila sa math. Kung pwede lang hindi nila kunin, kung pwede lang i-cross-enroll nila para residential, may matatanungan. Okay, Math 1 has math, yes. It has jargon, yes. But it's more of math appreciation. Ito yung kanyang course description. It's an appreciation of the beauty and power of mathematics. Beauty and power, wow, pang showbiz. Through the examination of its nature, development, utility, and relationship with culture and society. Okay, as our elective courses, we have Phil Arts 1, Philippine Arts and Culture. Okay, it examines the values of art in relationship to cultural practices and social processes in various communities. So this is a deeper appreciation of our folk art and other kinds of until modern art. Okay. SAS 1, if you feel lost and confused, you might want to take this course. Or if you have friends who you want to counsel, maybe this can help you. Okay, SAS 1 is Self and Society, understanding the self by examining the interrelation of biological